Anybody, SUNY Samad, Garland, Texas. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? I just hopped on. So you guys have said.
Mr. Stephen Taylor feeling better in East Tennessee. Let's go.
Well, they can't keep a good guy down. They can't keep
That's
a good
right.
guy down.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Yes, sir. I knew you bounced back. Uh, you know, like nobody's business, brother. So good to hear from you this morning. Anybody else before we get started? Anybody else? All right, all right, all right. Well, you can cut the music. Um, Staff, you can go ahead and cut the music. And I'll tell you what, you guys, great call. Brian Swisher was on the call. And like I told you guys, I'm very biased about the TNT. It's not really on our team calendar, but when somebody from our team is hosting or training, I do hop on. Good to see you this morning, Gene, as well. Drive safe. I love the OIC merch. You guys make it look great. Good to see you too, Kim. Drive safe. Those of you guys who are in traffic, Miss Betty Hall, kudos to you plugging in from the JOB. All right. This morning, you guys, I want to start off the call in fashion of, what the protocol of the call is, right? So we're going to tap in, talk about some wins. Early, we had a lot of activity. I'm loving the late month activity. It seems like everybody's kind of gotten over their post-event syndrome, right? And people are just kind of busting out, posting wins, getting out into the community, and things of that nature. And you guys, I want you guys to also understand that a win is also activity, right? It doesn't always have to be, a policy sold, right? Activity in a new connection, a new relationship with a potential client, right? These are all wins, you guys, because it's the activity that actually leads to the results. And when I set my goals, by the way, I don't really set a goal based on the destination alone. I set my goal also premised in the activity, right? So the activity goals are just as important as the results goals, right? And so I'm going to open it up, with this young lady all the way from California. She's been doing some amazing things. She's been manning the wheel of her business. I'm just super proud of her. I'm super proud of everybody, right? But Miss Princess Map, I've been seeing you, right? You've been taking charge. You've been taking lead. You've become iconic in OIC. You're leveraging the whole company, right? Which is amazing because that's an equity state of mind, right? An equity state of mind. You guys, please write this down if you have the opportunity or the availability to. An equity state of mind is ownership. Okay. An equity state of mind is simply ownership, meaning that, hey, the attitude comes before the paycheck. If I want to be an equity partner, I have to start showing up like one. I have to start operating like one, right? So am I a business owner? Number one. Two, is the platform of OIC my company? Yes. How many of you guys believe that OIC is your company? By show of hands, right? Okay, Kim, EP Kim, right? She's already an equity partner, right? The possibilities are here. We've produced, three more equity partners just in 2025, right? We got Akil, we got Kim, and myself. Okay, so equity is definitely available here, but the attitude, I promise you guys, comes before the paycheck. And what we all have in common, all the equity partners, I promise you, is that they came into OIC saying, what can I give, right? What can I do for OIC? Not necessarily what can OIC do for me. And so I've been seeing Miss Princess Map kind of take on this role, this attitude. And so, Miss Princess, share with us your wins, because I see that you wrote some annuity business, right? Which is phenomenal. Because Princess, a year ago, would have been like, Mr. Samad, I got this annuity going on. What's up? Walk me through this. But you like, look, I got it.
Yes,
right?
sir. But I learned from the best.
I love that. Yes, ma'am. I love that. So share with us this win, Miss
Thank
Princess.
you. Thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. God bless. Good morning. God bless everyone this morning. You know what? I thought this was very special because it really is a testament of us going all the way. So I went all the way to Vegas, right? Going all the way to Vegas and interacting with our partners from across the US. And Ms. Dorian, I had the pleasure of meeting her at the before convention at the other meeting in Powwow in Dallas, right? And we forged a relationship. But it wasn't like we talked to each other every day, but we have a little relationship. But when I saw her in Vegas, she introduced me to her cousin, who I just fell in love with me because she was just like, you know, it like we're family, and she's in Arizona, and so she hit me out of nowhere and said, "Hey, my cousin is newly signed. She doesn't have her license yet, but she really enjoyed you, and we want to know if you can work with us on this deal." And sure enough, it was easy as pie. Where I'm like, "Oh, okay, no problem," because it just out of nowhere, surprised me. And so we did write the business. We wrote an IUL as well. And we still have to do her husband and her daughter. And besides that, Miss Dorian hit me up yesterday and said, "Hey, I got a cousin in Lancaster. Can we tag team again?" So it really, I mean, really, I think it started from me pushing to Vegas, honestly. And they're from
Mm.
California, so they do want to, work with me and continue to do business. And I said, "Hey, I'll come to when you get your license, I'll come to Arizona and get in those streets with you." But that was it. Just really forging a relationship with a business partner that is across the US. And how simple
Mm, mm,
does it
mm.
get? But you can get that only at OIC. And with the
Yes,
leverage
ma'am.
of Supreme and what you've poured into us, it was like skating on ice. So I thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, let's give Miss Princess a round of applause. I hope you guys are taking notes, right? Always show up a student and be intentional. Don't be a formality. Don't be formal in your business. If you're casual, you will be a casualty. It's inevitable. Okay. Listen, she said it started with Vegas. I love that. I love that she sourced, right, the the genesis of this result, right? Because some people, they don't see that. They don't have that kind of vision. But Miss Princess is showing you she's thinking like a leader, right? She's thinking like somebody who's going to teach, right? She's not talking like somebody who's only thinking about herself. And you could tell by the nature of the language that she's sourcing the whole process, because in order to teach somebody else how to get these kind of results, I've got to show you the whole process, right? So she said, it started in Vegas. I just went to Vegas, right? I went to Vegas. I committed to the event, right? And I made relationships, created relationships with potential partners. Now, is it safe to say, you guys, listen, we got some sauce here at the Supreme Team. I don't know how else to say it. I don't want to be the one to say it all the time, right? This is why I rely on some of the leaders to say it, because if I say it, it sounds like bragging, right? But if you guys as leaders say it, it becomes edification. And we do have something special here. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing. Did you guys know that yesterday on our pod meeting, we have about on a regular basis 10 or 15 Facebook attendees from other teams? So, like yesterday, Keith Squalls was here, but Keith Squalls, Dorian Martinez, Lauren Coffey, Denise Bester, they are a part of this team. And they literally duplicate every single thing we do. And it's awesome. But what's scary is when we don't realize how awesome we are, right? And so Miss Princess went to Vegas. Number two, you guys, service opens up doors that a skill set never will. She was just willing to serve. What does the 90-day BD say, right? Never say no to an opportunity to serve, right? And because she was willing to serve, multiple opportunities opened up, right? Annuity business, IUL business. We still got some, children to write, some juvenile policies to write. And now I've got a relationship with a partner who has contacts that they need a leader to come in and leverage. and close that business, right? That is absolutely phenomenal. And that's really our system, third party, right? And so congratulations. This is what I mean, you guys, when I say wealth is an outcome rather than an income. Wealth is an outcome, not an income. She brought value to someone, and as a result of that value, the outcome was production. Wealth is something you create. You don't work for wealth. You don't trade time for wealth. You create wealth by bringing value to the market or bringing value to the vacuum of an opportunity or a space, right? And so that's awesome stuff. Congratulations again, Miss Princess Map. Looking forward to you closing out the month pretty strong. Keith, I spoke you up, brother. I just mentioned your name, and like Candyman, you just popped on the scene. I'm telling you, it's amazing. When you are aligned, that's how things happen, right? So congratulations again, Miss Princess. Let's show her some love in the chat. Listen, you guys, the next young lady I would like to bring up, all the way from North Carolina. This young lady has been a very consistent force to be reckoned with. I love to hear her speak and train on the calls because I do remember a very shy, bashful version of this young lady when she first got here. And to see what she's doing now is absolutely phenomenal. But that's what we do here in OIC, and that's what we do on the Supreme Team is we develop leaders, right? We develop, people. And I always say, you guys, and write this down, a leader's job is what? What is a leader's job? Does anybody know or know that philosophy?
Grow more leaders.
Hmm?
Develop more leaders. Develop more
Develop
leaders.
more leaders, right? To create more leaders, right? Leaders don't create followers, leaders create leaders. And a leader's job in this space is to sell people back to themselves. That's your job as a leader, is to sell people back to themselves, right? And so, we do that here in our Infinite Company. And I'm super excited. I hope she's available. If not, because she said she was running back to her desk. But if not, I can go ahead and share a potential win also too. But Miss Elena Taylor, might you be available yet? I think I just got a text message from her. I'm not sure.
I'm here. I just can't turn my camera on.
All good. All good. I know you're busy.
Yes.
You're shaking and moving. You got a lot going on, which makes what you're doing even more commendable, because you have a lot happening and there is a lot going on with you in the background. But you took, from what I understand, you created some opportunities. You went down to Atlanta, with the ladies of our team, and you have organized and structured a follow up system that produces results, right? And I absolutely love that because a lot of times, Elena, right, people get caught up in the nostalgia of the activity, right? And we get so caught up in just doing things, right? Like, hey, I went to a school. Hey, I went out to an event. Hey, I did this and I did that. But then when it comes to the actual follow up, right? Um, that's where people kind of fall off the wagon. What is your mindset that keeps you so focused in your follow through game, right? And just kind of share that piece of it with the team as you kind of share your win this morning. Floor is yours, man.
Thank you. Well, I think like for the most part for me, it's the fact that we work so hard to build these connections, right? So if you think about the schools and the events that I did last year, I mean, I did pretty much 10 or 11 events by myself. And Brian Swisher, he helped me with a couple.
Mm,
Unfortunately, the lady that I was working with, she couldn't help me do the events, right? So I had to step in and say, hey, well, these events are already booked. I have to keep them and honor my word and show up. So I just go
mm,
back to those
mm,
moments where I had events like 2, 3 days in a row. I think I had 4 1 week, or not days, but 2, 3 days in a week. And I think one week I had 4 events. And so you just think about like all the hard work that you've put in, and just to think like, okay, yes, I can go and do more events or go to small businesses and things like that, but what about all the people that I connected with last year? Right. So I think that's number
Right.
one, my motivation. Because it takes money, it takes time, it takes effort to build these relationships. So I think that it was just important for me to kind of step back and follow up with everyone that I connected with last year. So I think that's like my first motivation to, get organized and follow up with everyone. So that's my main, what pushes me to do that. And then secondly, you find out that a lot of people are still interested, right? So if I were to move on and not follow up, then I'm leaving people behind that, not necessarily, ignored me or didn't want to, follow up with the process. But, we also went through Christmas break and things like that. So a lot of people were busy, especially with our Atlanta event. So we had that event right before the holidays. So I know for some of us it was very difficult to follow up and get in touch with everyone after the new year. So those are just a couple of reasons why I just felt like it was important to do it. And as far as my wins, so I have been talking to a young lady. She's in her 20s. And it's kind of funny because when I was going over the call with her and all the information, she asked me, "Oh, are you just trying to sell me insurance?" So I explained to her, I said, well, my job is to educate you, right? I said, at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want. Like, it's your choice, right? But I want you to be educated before you make a decision, because a lot of times we're not educated on certain things. So whether that's, whatever structures we're putting our money in to save and to retire and things like that. But most importantly, we don't understand how to protect that during that time. So as I kept breaking it down to her over our calls, and she, asked me a lot of great questions, she said, "You know what? I'm starting to really understand and realize what you're talking about." And she just kept asking me hypothetical questions. So why would somebody get a term, or why would somebody get an IUL and a term, and things like that. So I just kept explaining her to her and giving her explanations of, okay, what if you have kids? What if you have more responsibilities when that time comes, and your income increases, your responsibility increases? How are you supposed to protect your income if something happens to you? And how are you supposed to leave your kids with something if you haven't put anything in place, right? So just giving her scenarios like that. So that was the first young
Mhm.
lady that I wrote yesterday. And then there's also another lady that I've been speaking to, and right now she's still supporting her 2 children in the house. They are a little bit older, but one's still in school and some things are going on. So I did present her the term and also the Roth. She decided not to go with the Roth, but she said she felt like protection was more important.
Mhm.
So wrote that last night. And just a couple more. So I'll be writing hopefully 2 more today.
Let's go.
And from
Let's go.
Atlanta.
Let's give her some love in the chat, you guys. Let's celebrate, these wins. I mean, this is awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just trying to make sure the team doing what they supposed to do, right? Because we gotta know how to celebrate each other, and we gotta know how to celebrate, because that's a skill set too. So go ahead, though, Miss Elena. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. No, it's fine. It's fine. But I have another young lady that Miss Jen and I have been working with, and she's like one of those individuals that's going to ask you questions that you've never been asked before. But I told her, I said, I love it because you're helping me learn as well. So we're learning together. And she's very like particular and look at the details, and she's asking like all the right questions. But she's already telling me like, I want to apply for the highest that I can. I want to do my Roth. And then she said, I don't even want to wait 10 to 12 months when we review everything, I want to start, converting my term into an IUL in the next 6 months. Like I want to start that process. So she's very into it and understands the process, and she's excited about it. The last thing I'll say too is that I'm still talking to my teachers, and
Mhm.
I've been able to book some follow ups with, of course, the events that I did last year. So I have another young lady, and she's a math teacher. And so she loved the first appointment of like the education part of it and saying, like, no one teaches us these things. And also the FNA because she's into math. So she told
Mhm.
me, she said, I'm really into this, and I feel like I would be so good at this because I love math, and this would be a
Mm.
great like side hustle. So
Wow.
she wants to join the company.
Let's go. Wow. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Right. You
Yes, and
talking
so
about, go ahead. I'm
oh
listen,
no.
go ahead.
So we'll be writing her policies next week, and then I'm trying to get her on the calendar with Miss Kim so we could do like an official corporate meeting with her.
Love it. Love it. That is awesome stuff. Wow. Let's go. Let's go, Miss Elena Taylor. Right. I mean, win on top of win on top of win on top of win, you guys. And I hope you guys are taking notes because I am. Right. So watch this. You know, first of all, yesterday we talked about Elena going back into our recruits and people that we brought into the business, because sometimes it's not about a new prospect or a new client. It's about the people we've already spoken to, right? Where maybe we didn't just pull the trigger, or maybe we didn't just button that conversation all the way up, and we're so busy looking for new prospects and new clients that a lot of times, right, we're sitting on old clients. And it reminds me of a philosophy that I live by. I always say, God's not going to bless you with the 5-bedroom house until you learn how to take care of the 2-bedroom apartment. Right. And sometimes we're looking for these extra clients and new prospects and things of that nature, but we're sitting on business. Right. This is a pipeline business, you guys. And what Elena's talking about is the epitome of that. Right. We're going out. We're spending a lot of time trying to get new leads, new prospects, new people to talk to, but we're neglecting the people we've already spoken to. And I'm not saying that's any of us, but I'm saying sometimes, right, that happens. But this is a pipeline business. And what I hear Miss Elena saying is that she went out early in her OIC career. She said, some of this business is the product of her doing 5, 10 events, right? Sweet treat events, and then going out to Atlanta and doing that event and taking it seriously. It wasn't just a formality. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm here. Let's take some pictures, post it on the chat, right? It's like, no, I intend to convert this into real business and opportunities, right? You guys, the intention, okay, is the internal attention that we give to things, right? And so she took it very, very seriously, and she's producing. She's got multiple opportunities now, right? And then what I loved about what she said was her upline wasn't available, or the person, this is the real sauce right here. The person she was used to going out with was no longer available, and she didn't cancel. She said, I had to keep my promise. Did you guys hear that? So she honored her promise, and the promise developed her to become who she needed to be in the moment to serve the client. So she became somebody she would not have otherwise become had she said, you know what, my person isn't available, so I'm going to cancel, I'm going to fall back. If she had taken the easier, softer way, but she said, you know what, the obstacle is the way. Like the book that I asked us to read 2 months ago by Ryan Holiday. The obstacle is always the way. If we're expecting this to be easy, we've already failed. If we're expecting this to be easy, we've already failed. There is absolutely nothing worth having that's going to give you a path down easy street, right? And I remember the first conversation, or one of the first conversations that I had with Elena. This is the same young lady who was like, I don't think I want to go into schools. Right? Now look at her. She is completely unstoppable because she walked through it once. And guess what happened? What's easy to do once, what you do once becomes easy to do again. So she walked through it and she faced her fear. In the event that we face fear, we prove fear false. The moment we face fear, we prove it to be false. We eradicate it and it's gone. It flees like the devil. That's all the devil does. He whispers and he flees. Okay. Right. And so she faced that fear, you guys, and now she's unstoppable. And so I hope you guys are picking up some of these nuggets because, I see big things happening for Miss Elena. Let me ask you one more question, Miss Elena. What are your goals for this year in OIC?
So I feel like my first goal is to become field director. I mean, I have been recruiting. I've still
Yes,
been
ma'am.
on LinkedIn.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
I have a great prospect right now from LinkedIn. And then, Miss Kanju just joined and we were helping her last night. And then I
Yes.
have the young lady at school that's interested. So that
Let's
would be
go.
my first goal this year, but also to become equity partner. So I'm
Let's get it
I
done.
yeah, so I've been
Let's
talking
get it
to
done.
Kim. Yes, so
Let's
I've been
wrap it
talking.
up. You got me excited over here, Miss Elena, because I can see it for you. And I don't think you know how close you are, but go ahead, because I'm about to show you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just talking to Kim, I believe what at the end of last year, and we were kind of, going over like the average number of policies like I need. And so I'm trying not to think about the numbers. Honestly, like I'm gonna be honest, I don't go in the back office because I feel like if I see the numbers, I'm gonna just be like kind of discouraged, like, oh, I'm not there yet. So I'm just looking at like the activity, like just keeping the activity. And then my goal is like 2 to 4 policies a month, and I feel like I'll get there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I love that though. And I get it, And as I mentioned to you guys earlier, because I literally just said the same thing, right? I said I focus on the activity goal, right? It's about the activity goals. The activity goals lead to the ultimate goal, right? But it's definitely important for us to be incentivized by an end goal, right? And so I'm going to push you a little bit. All right. I'm going to play devil's advocate leader here. Okay. I want you to shoot for business director. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason is because I think if you shoot for field director, we may fall a little short. But if we shoot for BD, okay, we'll do BD level activity and field director will get done along the way. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So that's number one. All right. Number two, I'm going to illustrate to you real quick, hopefully, um, if my whiteboard acts okay. Um, I had to log on to with another screen. So, because my Wi-Fi this weather's got my Wi-Fi crazy, you guys. So please forgive me. Um, But I just want to show you what field director looks like real quick. I'm going to show you how simple this is. All right. How many of you guys know how many points are associated with field director? How many points 90-day rolling for field director?
45,000.
45,000. All right. It's an important number to know, right? Because here's the thing. I know we don't like looking at the numbers sometimes, right? But it's important for us to kind of just have that marker. All right. So structure wise, all right. This is what field director looks like for you, Miss Elena. Very simple. And I saw What is it? Miss Condu? Is that her name?
Yes.
She was on $1 Million Baby last night. Okay. So she's definitely plugged in, right? So this is you. Okay. This is Miss Elena. All right. And you got 1, 2, 3 people, okay, that become associates. All right. So these are all associates. Now, what does this look like in regards to time frame? All right. So time wise, I need to get these people 3, 3, and 8. How do we do that? All right. So 100 persons list for each one of these people that come on board. We get them to the academy. All right. And then we have a grand opening. All right. GO, grand opening. But we also get these people bossed up. Because when we get them bossed up, not only do we financially empower them, right? Okay. But we get like half of their points knocked out to become associates, right? So if I got 1, 2, 3 people, let's say they all get a policy, of about 250 a month. Okay. That's 3,000 a piece there. Okay. So bossing up, let's say, will take care of 3K a piece for these 3 associates. All right. And then we get them into some schools, get them some appointments, and then we have a grand opening to activate their warm market. Okay. We want to activate their warm market with this grand opening. Each one of them. All right. And so when we activate their warm market, and I knew my Wi-Fi was going to act crazy. But when we activate their warm market, it's a done deal, right? Because now, like you, we have business in the pipeline that they're going to leverage you and Miss Kim, right, to walk them through and close out that business. So, field director for you looks like 45,000 points, but not just on your own pen. It's taking those other agents, right, and helping them hit their goals, right? It's having a conversation of saying, hey, you know what? Agent 1, 2, and 3, how can I help you hit your goals, right? In the first 30 days of your business, right? So this is January. Okay. You got 1, you got 2. We need 1 more. And then we just go hard to get them to associate. In your run, getting them to associate, your goal is going to be a natural byproduct. By helping them hit their goals, I get my goal accomplished. Does this make sense to you, Miss Elena?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Does it feel doable?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's so simple. It's so simple because the system is already in place to make it happen, right? The system is already in place to make it happen. And so, congratulations again to you, Miss Elena Taylor. Uh, wow. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal stuff. I know, Mr. Gustin, you wanted to bring up a gentleman uh, by the name of George Pierce. Um, do we have that gentleman on?
I don't see him on the line, but
Okay,
I will just say one thing. One of the reasons why I wanted to highlight him, but before I do that, I really got to say, Miss Taylor,
let's
listening to
go.
your story this morning was extremely beautiful. Because I think what everybody should have caught, in addition to all the hot points that Mr. Samad just shared with you, is that development is a choice. And all I can see is development from the time I've heard her initial voice. I can remember some of the initial calls that I might have had a chance to be exposed to about Alea Taylor and some of the initial hesitation. But what she talked like, I wanted her to be my financial advisor because she talked like the financial professional. She
Hmm.
literally took each customer and said, hey, this is your need, this is your want, this is your movement. I got a bunch of business that still exists here. and I'm developing myself. So honestly, I don't want to overstate anything beyond what Mr. Samad just said, but beautiful, number one. Number two, I was highlighting Mr. George Pierce because one of the things that caught my attention as to why even myself as a leader also has to develop in that role of leading from a standpoint that, oh, I realize that I thought you understood, but it's my job to make sure that you do understand. And one of the things that Mr. Pierce said to in one of the events that we did together, it was Miss Boyd's event. We actually were in another school and he actually was present there too. And I said, well, come right along and just take a look at the action. It's not your event, but come learn. He said, no problem. We went to go visit one school that we're going to set up for him. And then we went to that event and helped host it. We created 20 opportunities. And he said something, I didn't know it was this easy. I said, yeah, all we doing is saying hello, handing out folders, passing out some food, and taking names and phone numbers. We're not saying anything brilliant. One of the reasons why I wanted to highlight him is because I was like, hey, once you get past the gate, you're in. Now you just have to be a relationship-driven person. So that's all I wanted him to add value. But I like the idea of what you guys just talked about because, I mean, I was almost wanted to cry because I see the development. So when you guys make a choice to develop yourself, you're now positioning your business to move forward. So Ms. Taylor, beauty to what you've been able to accomplish. Excited about seeing a teammate, a business partner on this platform develop. It personally encouraged me, even though I might be somebody that believes in a certain way, but it also says, hey, if Elena Taylor makes a decision or any business partner makes a decision to develop themselves, they're going to become a beautiful business professional. So that's all I'm going to add, Mr. Saman. I'll pass the call back out to you, sir.
And thank
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am, Miss Elena. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Oh no, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, for bringing such light and inspiration to the call this morning, you guys. I mean, any other leaders want to chime in? Kim, Princess,
Brother, Mr. Suni
Miss
Samad, I
Mary
wanted to chime
Grace.
in.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wanted
Come
to
on.
chime in before. Wow, leaders of leaders. That's all I'm going to say. Seeing Elena, and I guess today we're just going to get your flowers because it's due. And this is a work in the making. You know, getting to personally meet you finally in Atlanta and what you've done before and after is just a testimony of the leader that you are. It's not about the age. Age is just a number. Leadership is not about age. Leadership is not about anything except the decision. And you know, there's nothing we want more to see you not as a field director, as a business director, EP, because you've got everyone here supporting you. And when you mentioned you already got a running mate and how Mr. Suni Samad already broke that down, you focus on what you do. You get there, you're no excuses in what you already have, and you have the biggest mission. And I think it's already been in you. It's just this is the timing and just the goal you set. It's not that we're saying no, because you have the potential to really knock it out of the park, a grand slam. Like yesterday, listening to you, I almost was like, man, this is the team. This is what's moving the needle. And when something so small that some people don't see, but as leaders see it, and when Kimberly had to take care, right, and do the mommy thing, you just, without a heartbeat, you got in. It's like, pass the baton, I'm on, because every second counts. And that's leadership. I have more BDs, and I'm not just saying it because, and it's like we have BDs with a title waiting. Mary Grace from Dallas to you, sir, Dallas, but you just step up to the plate, and that's when you bat. God gets you to the plate, but it's up to you to bat, and you batted a grand slam yesterday, Elena. I mean,
Yes.
just the way you look, just the way you highlighted. That's why even I felt compelled to say, "Hey, y'all, it's true. We've had IULs for our babies ever since they're 2 weeks old. But look at these scholarships coming in. And I'm just telling my daughter as I'm driving her to a very exclusive school, but I'm like, Mommy don't listen to you. We're the boss. We decide. We follow the money. It doesn't matter how much we have. We don't leave money on the table, and we're gonna see who wants you because we position everything, and that's why leaders share. And man, Elena, I am just like you're. What did I say in Atlanta? You're our youngest. You will be the youngest BD, EP, EBD, CEO. I mean, because OIC is just barely an 8-year-old company, and you are between the Supreme team at least, or the one that to be recognized. You will hold that title. Please let us run with
Yes.
you. You just
Yes.
you just woke a lot of us up as leaders to jump down because we've got leaders that owe it to put South Carolina, California, New Jersey, Texas, nationwide. Elena, 18, let's go, my dear.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right, Mary Grace. Yesterday I noticed that on the call too, where the call went dry for a split second and she just hopped right in. That's what leadership is all about, you guys. That's what leadership is do. Leaders do. I always say that leadership is a position that's assumed. It's not given. Nobody's gonna knight you as a leader in OIC. You have to knight yourself. You do. Like nobody's gonna come with a sword and say, "All right, I'm giving you the trail of leadership." No, you just gotta step the hell up and own your purpose. You have to own it. That's how Suni Samad got where I am. That's how Brian Swisher got where he is. That's how, Kim got where she is, right? Hans got where he is. We just owned it. We're not asking permission. So when a call used to go dry, Elena, I'm telling you, true story. I used to be flabbergasted at all the people that was waiting for the Wi-Fi to reconnect so that the leader could finish the dang on call. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let me unmute. Let's go. Right? Let's go. We got a business to run. And that's a mindset. But leadership is an assumed position. You know how, like, y'all don't have this background, but you know how the police say assume the position? You know what I'm saying? Put your hands behind your back, assume the position. Listen, in leadership, in business, you have to assume your position. Nobody's going to give it to you, you guys, right? And that's what you see in Miss Elena Taylor. And that's why it feels so special, right? It's presence, it's aura, right? It's saying, listen, I'm not waiting. I'm not sitting back complaining, platforming problems. I'm going to be the solution. I don't like something. If I notice something that I don't like, I change it. The problem you find is the problem you fix. If something was out of place in your home, would you look around? Like, for example, if somebody left I don't know, somebody left the water running in your kitchen. Would you go around the house trying to figure out who left the water running, or would you just cut it off? You just cut it off, right? And you keep it moving. It does nobody any good to platform complaints. One of my favorite rap lyrics, Most Def, he said, "It's a city full of walls you can post complaints at." It's a city full of walls you can post complaints at. I love that. What is he saying? Nobody cares. You know what people care about? What you gonna do about it? How are you going to step up? Solutions. We're leaders. We're future millionaires and billionaires, right? So, Mary Grace, I'm happy you pointed that out because I saw that too yesterday. It was like, boom, two split second. Nobody even really noticed it, right? She came on, Kim was like, my $1 million baby is is needs my attention real quick. She was like, boom, open up her camera, continue right on. Right? And that's how we should all move, like synchronized swimmers. We're all leaders. Nobody should miss a beat here. We should be beating down the door for an opportunity to have an at bat. Right? It's like, you can't host today? I got it. We should be fighting for that position. Because as a leader, you have to upgrade your default setting. Right? Most people, average people's default setting is backseat. I'll wait. I'll let somebody else do it. Right? I want to chill. I want to relax. I want to let somebody else man the wheel. Have you ever seen the eagerness of a child to learn something? Right? Any of us who got kids right now, I see Princess's kids in the back seat. I promise you, if you told one of your kids right now they could drive, they would oblige. They'd be like, I could drive. They would be in that front seat, no problem. Let me drive. Right? I can tell Elijah right now, he's 7. Listen, we're going to go drive and I'm going to let you drive. He like, let's go. But somewhere along the lines of life, we get beat up and people start putting their trauma on us and we start normalizing average. And we take a backseat to being above average because we don't want to go against the popular opinion. It's unpopular to stand out, right? It's unpopular to be first. It's unpopular to be out front. But that's what makes us worthy of 7-figure incomes and all these dreams that we say we want to accomplish. It's a mindset. The attitude comes before the paycheck. The attitude comes before the paycheck. So listen, Miss Elena, we made it all about you this morning, right? Love, love, love it. But here's the thing, you guys, it's so true. And that's why we come to this call, right? Because it's called the Winner Circle for a reason. We had a few other people to highlight, but I just wanted to say, you guys, also, there's a win that I want to highlight. I went to a event. It was called what was it called? It was a real estate event, but they have a committee. It's over 100 years old. Hans, help me out. What is it called? NARAB. Anybody ever heard of NARAB? Right? Well, NARAB is a community of real estate agents. Okay. So I was invited out to go to this event that they do in the community out here in DeSoto, Texas. Long story short, made a lot of contacts. And I've been personally invited now in February by one of the brokers of one of the biggest Keller Williams offices here in Dallas to come and present the wealth and retirement formula. All right. To all of the real estate agents in that office because none of them have retirement plans. Okay. And so it's huge, it's humongous. But here's the thing, you guys, don't sleep on natural market business. Okay. Don't sleep on the business that you can get out here and create for yourself. When I look at a Miss, Mary Grace, when I look at what even the Rubios have done outside of these niche markets, you guys, when you look at Anthony Rubio, I mean, you're looking at an executive vice chairman, but do you know that they did that without niche markets? They did that without niches. They got one of the biggest organizations in OIC. So when people tell me natural market don't work, I beg to differ. Okay? What will always be the biggest market? The natural market. The natural market will always be the biggest market. But what's cool about OIC is we give people these niches to build up their confidence. And once your confidence is built up in the niche spaces, then you say, you know what, everybody needs this. Everybody comes into this awakening like, you know what, I can give this to everybody. Like, like who doesn't need this, right? Because our approach is so unique, our approach is so different, right? And so that's one of the wins that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm looking forward to it, but I also wanted to talk about that win pertaining to my goals. Okay, so what are my goals this year? My goals for 2026 is to cash flow $250,000 in OIC. My title goal is to become a CEO business director, which means that I need to help 3 other people become business directors. So, where is my focus at every single day? My focus daily, okay, is understanding that I have to prioritize other people's goals. Okay. I have to get in a car with other agents on a regular basis and say, hey, where are you at? What are we doing today? What's the day's commands, right? Who are we following up with today? All right. Who are we talking to today? How many 3 ways do we have on the agenda? And my calendar is full of other activity from other agents because in order for me to hit my goal, I have to help them hit their goals. And that is so fulfilling. So fulfilling, right? One of the biggest dispositions you can have in this business is to be selfless. The more selfless you are in this business, the more success you'll have. The more selfish and self prioritized you are, the less success you'll have. Now, you may be able to write a lot of business on your own pen, but you guys all say every day, I want to be, I want to be an agency owner. I want to have 3,000, 4,000 agents. I want to be like Mary Grace with 245 directs, right? I want a lot of passive income rolling up so that I can buy back my time. Okay. For me, Suni Samad, 21 years in the medical field, 21 years is enough. I'm done. I'm over trading time for money. And the more I learn about the true nature of wealth and wealth creation, the less I actually want to trade time for money because I know that there's no amount of money worth my time. And so I'm able to position myself here in this company in a way that allows me to leverage myself, duplicate myself, and buy back my time. Why? So I can give it to the people that I love the most and do the things that I'm most passionate about, which is pouring into more people, but mainly my family, right? How many of you guys would love to take a quarterly trip with your family, all your family every year, right? Every quarter, it's already on the calendar. Flights are already always booked, right? Best airline, right? I don't even need to really pay cash for it. I got nice credit established, business credit, everything's a tax write-off, right? And I could spend quality time with the people that I love the most, traveling the world, buying and purchasing experiences, right? That for me is my end goal. For me, okay? Now, I'm not saying that for you guys. I don't want that to be your goal. But in order for me to hit those goals and to be able to have that kind of time back, I have to know how to structure my activity within this business in a way that allows me to build agency. Right? And so when you guys come to trainings, right, you have to have discernment. You do. You have to have discernment. You have to say, okay, how does this align with my goals? Right? How does this align with my goals? At least right now at the moment, you know? And maybe my goals change later, but how does this align with my goals? Right? If my goal is this, like one of the reasons I respected Stephen Taylor so much is because his goals are very clear. Stephen Taylor is so focused on building agency that he ain't tripping on writing no apps right now. He ain't tripping on writing no apps, right? And so he's not caught up on, what the leaderboard looks like from a standpoint of not being on it in production. He's like, look, I'm building my foundation. I'm focused on building my foundation. And once I build my foundation over the next 60 to 90 days, then I'm going to go to work with these people that I call my team. And we're going to build agency, right? But then this is why I respect a Brian Swisher. Because Brian Swisher says, well, hey, my goal is to get into the small business space, become valuable in that space, right? And then teach other people in OIC how to do it. And then I'll just do joint work, right? And have partnerships within the construct of OIC. And that's his goal. I want you all to leave this call today understanding what are your goals? And how does the activity for your goals, or how does the activity that you are prioritizing every single day align with what your goals are? Am I building? Do I have some goals by convention? Right? My goal is to create a minimum of 10 more business directors by the time we go to convention. I still want us to be the MVP team, right? I'm still after that. I didn't, just because we fell short last year don't mean I hung up my ambition to hit the MVP goal, right? Still after that. So what are your goals? Get clear, be boisterous, be brave, be courageous about your goals, and just make sure that the activities that you prioritize daily align with whatever that goal is in a time within the time structure, right? How many people shooting for field director? Show of hands. This Mr. Ridley, Miss Elena Taylor. All right. Okay. How many people shooting for business director? Show of hands. All right. So today, what I would love for you all to do is go to the drawing board of your goals. Write the construct of your business out and look at it. Get it out of your head and look at it. Okay? And say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm trying to go. And then create a mental or a framework that represents a GPS. Say, look, I got to get here by this time. And we all have the systems in place to make it happen. All right. So, any other BBs want to say something, or any other leaders, or anybody for that matter? Anybody for that matter?
I just want to add a quick amen to that, sir. When I say amen, um, right now, guys, I'm not in business mode for OIC because I'm handling some things that need to be handled. But the beauty of this system is my mind has just been set right for all of the things that I am trying to accomplish. So in the midst of my other responsibilities, this wake up and win call set my mind right. You guys have no idea how much I took out of this call. I can't explain it because we ain't got that kind of time. But thank you for the system, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the system, because in the management of life, you need the ability to have people offer you a mindset for the future that you're trying to build. And my future just got even clearer listening to a Taylor, listening to a Samad, respectfully, and listening to those of you that are winning, so that in my mind, while I would prefer to be in OIC mode, I can't at this particular moment, but because of this call, it set the tone for the rest of the things that, hey, Hans, keep pushing, don't let go. I know this is a distraction, but don't let go. So thank you for this call, sir. That's what I gotta add as an amen. It my soul today, just being 150%,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
brother.
Listen, man, no problem. Yes, sir, Mr.
Hey,
Stephen
brother.
Taylor.
Hey, I just wanted to say something that I wanted to say last night, but I didn't want the call to run late. Yesterday, I spent most of the day in bed, and even the night before I was sick. But I got a phone call from a lady by the name of Mary Grace Anasco, who just said, "Hey, Stephen, we know you're not feeling up to par. Just want you to know I'm thinking about you. We're all family here. We are, if you need any help, if you need anything taken care of, let me know." Um, and you don't know what a healing conversation that was. And you were
Mm,
talking last night. You were talking last night about, our family, the culture that we have here. And when, I've been in the insurance business 50 years. I've never had a co-founder of a company give me a personal call. I spent my last 8 years with a company that I wrote three to $400,000 worth of prearranged funerals before, made the company a lot of money. But the CEO, Tom Ryan, doesn't even know I exist. So I just wanted to say what a blessing it is, what a what a privilege it is to be in this space. And you're right. Um, I haven't I haven't really I haven't really worried about not writing any business. Um, while I've been on the phone here, there's been a young man from one of my LinkedIn contacts that I reached out to, who actually was from this area, went to college in the same town where I just retired from. He is in Florida now, and he wants to know more. We're working on getting a time together for a three-way call. And he said, just so you know, I'm not in Tennessee anymore. I'm in Florida. Is that going to matter? You know what that?
mhm.
You know how I felt about that. Absolutely not. It's going to matter. So, all I can say is, in 50 years, it's different than anything I've ever seen. I'm going to be on a BD run. We're not going to
Come
get
on,
to go
brother.
into the, we're not going to be into the schools this week just because of the weather front that's coming in. But Hans and I have a game plan. We know what we're doing. So, um, you know, I just appreciate and love everybody in this group, and especially for Mary Grace to give me that call and then shared some healing prayers. She sent it to me in a text. There's a lot to be said about this community we have. So please, guys, don't take it for granted. That's all I need to say, brother.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing, brother. And I'll end it with this, you guys. The attitude and culture of a company reflects its leaders. Okay. The attitude and culture of a company reflects its leaders. And so, the culture is a part of our system. We're very intentional about the culture that we create here. Okay. There's a reason we have a prayer call. Trust me. That was a conscious decision. There's a reason we do a winner's circle. Trust me. That was a conscious decision. There's a reason that, we start the day off with a particular mindset. We were very intentional about that, and for a reason. There's a reason that we train certain things like LinkedIn third party systems. There's a reason that we train getting started right for those of you who want to build massive businesses and become that senior executive chairman council that's worth $1.9 million a year in passive income. Okay. Last thing I'll say is, listen, please don't take for granted when you guys see Mary Grace on this call. You listen, I'm so rewarded just by her presence on this call every single day, because it's the confirmation, Kim, that I pray for. When I'm asking God to give me confirmation, right? And then a Mary Grace pops up on the call. That's confirmation. It's $1 million on the call. I'm sorry to say it, Mary Grace, but damn, where we trying to go is here. It's validating what we're doing, right? And so when you have that, on your call every day, on this call, because some of y'all at work, watch this. Ain't none of y'all coworkers worth seven figures. None of them. None of them. Right? That's some perspective, ain't it? Right? I could just end the call there. So I appreciate everybody. And listen, I will see you guys on the winner circle tomorrow. We're gonna have a special training by Miss Marlena Smith. She's gonna go in and we're gonna get some perspective about this playbook, you guys. All right, okay, playbook and getting started right. Amazing call. Thank you, everybody who showed up, and I'll see you guys at the top. Peace.
Mr. Samar,
LinkedIn,
I just want to
LinkedIn,
say we're catching up to Miss
LinkedIn.
Alston. Miss Alston, you haven't had a call from me yet, but
Yes.
keep up the mission. We are
Yeah.
so proud of you.
Listen,
Oh,
You
thank
so I'll say
you.
this. I'll say this, what she talking about to give you some clarity. So Mary Grace sends us our cycles every week, right? She sends us how much money we made. Uh, Michelle, you are in the top 5 of money made in this organization, Mary Grace's organization, whole organization. I'm telling you what
Wow.
we do works. This is somebody who just became an associate. She's following the system. She cycles something like 2,800. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. She don't even know,
Let's
right?
go.
She like, let's go,
first the
right?
Let's
mission, then
go.
all the commission.
Yes. So,
Let's
what we
build
do
it,
works
Miss
here, you guys.
Alston.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. I'll talk to you
Thank
guys
you.
later. Peace. See
LinkedIn,
y'all on the next
Go help
one.
the
LinkedIn,
families,
LinkedIn.
y'all.